This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
You're on the best of the Morning X.
Barnes, Leslie, and Jimmy.
99X.
Can you think off the top of your head, what are some of the most outlandish excuses you've ever used, either for being late or for not being somewhere at all, or anything come to mind?
Or for maybe even not showing up, you mean? Or just being late?
Or for anything.
Just a big fat excuse you came up with.
Yeah, what is the most outlandish excuse you've ever gotten away with? That's really
Barnes
the
has
question.
got to have one or two.
Well, you can always go with you're sick or you lost the directions.
Yeah, but
you don't have the phone number. You can always go with the obvious.
Better than that.
You mean
There's
like
obvious,
my dog ate my checkbook kind of thing?
Yeah,
I mean,
more outlandish.
Outlandish.
I couldn't think of anything.
excuses.
I couldn't think of any off the top of my head that I've.
Mine aren't outlandish. They're well thought out. So.
I know I've had. I'll tell you what. I know I've had a lot of grandfathers die. I think I've had 7 or 8 grandfathers die.
My grandfather died. That's not outlandish.
No, but
having several die is...
Your family
I've
just dying
had
off.
more than I've had.
Gotcha.
I've had a lot of relatives very sick.
Yeah, my great-great-great-grandfather died a long time ago.
Great-granddaddy Barnes.
He did die.
What is the most ridiculous excuse you have ever gotten away with?
Did you have one, Steven?
Yeah, I got one, spastic colon.
A spastic colon.
Spastic
I got out of college, so I got a college test for that one.
What did you say? You had a spastic colon, so you couldn't show up because what?
It was just acting up that day, and I just couldn't make it to class, and no professor ever questioned me on it or anything else.
And it was probably English class, right, where you had the spastic colon?
No, it was journalism.
So, yeah, because if you question somebody who's got spastic colon, you know that you're going to get a lot of details that you really don't want to hear.
Right. And that one and hemorrhoids were the two best I ever came up with in college.
You can always say, you just don't want to know. What's wrong? You just don't want to know.
Yeah.
And then they just, okay, I don't even want to know. Just get out of here.
In fact, what's that story? I think it may be an urban legend, but it's a story of these 2 guys who decided that they were going to cut class on a day that they had like some big final. They were going to blow it off so that they could get the questions from their classmates later in the day and then take the test later. So they made up an excuse that they were away from the weekend and that they had a blown-out tire on the way back home, and they couldn't get the flat fixed, and that's why they had to miss class because they were stuck in the middle of nowhere.
I've done the tire.
But that was the excuse that they made, is that our tire blew out, we were in the middle of nowhere, we had to hike 1,400 miles, whatever, to get to class, and that's why I couldn't make the test. So the teacher doesn't believe it for a second. He says, okay, well, that's okay. We'll give you the test later. So he sits them down, he gives them each the test in separate rooms, and the first question on the quiz is, which tire blew out?
Ooh, like that.
I did the tire thing, and on the way into class, I actually stopped at a parked car and rubbed my hands on the tire and then rubbed it on the shirt. I have done that. I was about a half hour late for a test.
That's
John?
good.
Yeah.
What's your excuse?
Yeah, I told Jimmy I called in once. I had my wife call in for me to make it even more believable that my father had been involved in a hunting accident, that somebody dropped a rifle and shot him in the leg.
That's a bit drastic to use just for an excuse.
That your father had...
They're going to ask questions when your dad drops a
good
rifle
one.
and gets shot in the leg. They're going to ask questions.
Yeah, they just immediately were like, okay, well, then you need to get to the hospital, I guess, so go ahead and take off.
That's a good one.
Yeah, you're like, actually, I've got a tea time about 12:03.
That's
so
a good
we'll
one.
see you. Ann?
I told a college professor that he needed to pass me so I could graduate and have my brain tumor operated on.
You must have been convincing.
Brain tumor?
Worked. All I know is that I graduated and got a college diploma, and I was going to fail that class.
Good.
The brain tumor thing worked for you.
The brain tumor thing worked.
Good.
I always use that I really need this class. I just need to get out of this class and I'm scot-free line. I used that for 4 years. The sympathy,
good.
sometimes the professors had that leeway to give you a little sympathy.
I'll bet there are a lot of creative ones here. Guys have given girls why they've either been late or have stood them up.
Oh,
or
yes.
why they can't go out with them anymore. I'll bet there's some good ones.
Steve?
Yes, I was living in South Georgia, and I was about an hour late to see my girlfriend, and she knows I'm fanatic about my car. I had just waxed it. So I don't know if you ever seen how the blackbirds fly across the sky, like just hundreds of them for like an hour. So I told her that since I just waxed my car, I couldn't pass under those blackbirds because I didn't want to use the bathroom in my car.
So you pulled over?
Yeah, and she believed it.
She believed it because she knew you were a moron about your car.
Right.
You didn't.
That's great.
You wanted to avoid driving under any birds.
No, I didn't want any
Oh man.
avian material on my car.
Rob?
Yeah.
Do you have an excuse?
Yeah, I did. This was working back in early 90s. I had a date with a really hot girl, so I called in work and told them I had a severe ankle sprain. Well, they really wanted to see a little more than that, so I had to actually drive down there. And what I did is I rubbed a bunch of pencil lead on a paper and rubbed it all over the ankle to feign the big bruise, the bruise look.
The lead bruise.
It passed with flying colors.
Oh, that's great.
Good.
And
That's a
ended up
good one.
getting stood up on the date, so...
Oh,
So you just erased your bruise and went to work.
Yeah.
thank you for
Exactly.
sharing that with us.
Let's rifle through a couple more of these excuses. Hello?
Okay, remember Hail Bop?
Hail
Comet.
Bob, the comet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the cult that committed suicide
Heaven's
over
Gate.
Sure, the Heaven's Gate cult.
Yeah, I used this excuse more than once, but to get out of a test once, I told one of my professors that a friend of mine had committed suicide in the same manner, and I had to go to the funeral.
You told your friend, you told the
copycat
professor
suicide?
that he was in the cult?
Well, I told the professor, I told my boss at work. It went on for about
that's
a week. It was
great.
a great excuse for a little while.
At least it was consistent.
It was great.
Just keep it going.
We should be
Thanks.
getting these professors on the phone.
That's hysterical. Yeah,
Lisa?
I bet some professors have heard some bizarre ones. Yeah.
Yes.
Did you have one?
Yes. When I was 17 years old, I went to work about 45 minutes late, and obviously it needed an excuse. I told them I had really long hair. I told them I slammed my hair in the door when I was walking out of the house, and I dropped my keys, and I had to wait for somebody to walk by to pick up my keys so I could get back in my house so I could get my hair out of the door. The real reason I was late was because I was having sex with my boyfriend.
So your hair was
that's
caught
good.
in the door and you couldn't reach your keys.
Right, because my hair, I'm standing
good
up,
one.
I drop my keys, and I can't bend over because my hair is caught in the door.
Well, the problem was you were already bent over and your hair was caught in his hand.
Yeah.
Thanks
pretty
for
much.
sharing that with us. We'll see you later.
All right, thanks.
Bye. Dave, one more. What was your excuse?
Hey,
Hey.
Yeah,
this is
Dave.
Dave.
Dave,
Yeah,
what was your
yeah.
excuse?
Hey, Dave.
I got a nickel caught in my safety belt in my car, and I couldn't get the safety belt undone.
Got a nickel?
But the scary thing is this is true. It really happened, and my boss at work said you cannot be late again. And so I used this excuse, and she totally did not believe me. And of course, it wasn't true when I was late for work, but it really did happen.
That you got a nickel? That
Yeah,
lodged your
you
safety
get change
belt?
in your car, and it gets caught down the safety belt, and it's terrible to try to get the clasp to come loose.
So would you tell them they had to come with the jaws of life to get you out of your seatbelt?
No, I told her that I just had to like breathe and relax and kind of like wiggle out of it.
Wiggle out of
Yeah,
the
I said it
safety
took me an
belt.
extra 10 or 15 minutes. That's why I was late.
Thanks, Dave.
Good.
Thanks.
You're on the best of the morning X. It's the audio equivalent of opening the fridge and realizing you still have enough leftover pizza for a mediocre breakfast. Not what you hoped for, but better than nothing. 99X.
Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling take you behind the scenes of one of the greatest shows of all time.
They're Ultimate Rewatch Podcast. We're in the midst of season 7, and
Hold on. Obviously, we had a very successful television show for 10 years that was Superman based.
But we had to make everyone believe that you were Clark.
I gotta be honest, I was surprised at the end of this episode that I wasn't.
I was too.
Talkville, the Smallville Rewatch Podcast.
I'm not sure I knew when I was filming it that I was not me.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.